Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 10 of What If Naruto Learned the Clone Secret in the Beginning. Remember to get this on to 300 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in social media platform, and also stay in tune. I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Got a Second Chance over an Anime King. And later on, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Got His Memory Sealed Away, so stay tuned for that. And I'm also going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Was the Otsutsuki King, so stay tuned for that as well, guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Begin the intro. So the last spot we left off, Naruto forced Kankuro to put down Konohamaru as he gave him a stern glare. Hearing that Konohamaru was a third Hokage grandson, he didn't want to start anything. Gaara then arrived to the scene as Sasuke asked him who he was, as Naruto started to make fun of Sasuke, saying that he was into Gaara and all that, as Naruto also complimented Temari for his stupid idiotic teammate, as she blushed a bit, as she seemed like she liked him, as he simply winked at her, as Gaara told them his name and said that he will be looking forward to see them in the exam, and with that they headed off. After going to Kakashi, Kakashi gave them a slip, as all of them signed it and arrived the next morning for the Chunin exams. Arriving, they saw that many people were outside, as they noticed that this was the wrong room, it was just a genjutsu, as Sasuke had to go and blow the cover, making those idiots get into the exam. As the group then went off, arriving, Lee wanted to face off against Sasuke, but Naruto simply walked off, knowing that Sasuke was going to get his ass kicked, as he didn't want to see that. As Kakashi was outside waiting for them, as Kakashi told them if one of them decided to not take the test, none of them could take it after all, seeing that he didn't want Sasuke or Naruto to force Sakura into it. So with that, he wished them luck and they head inside. As the other rookie came in, as Naruto scanned around the room, seeing the Kumo ninjas as him and Yujito eyes met, the both of them then blushed a bit, realized they were staring at each other for a long while as they turned their head. As Kabuto arrived there, as he was telling them about the hidden sound and all the other nations, as he said that the hidden sound was weak, as the trio decided to attack Kabuto just to show him that the sound was strong. Seeing that Kabuto was wearing the Konoha headband, Naruto knew that he was a Konoha ninja and would not take lightly in them being attacked like that. Before those who could even get enough feet near to Kabuto, Naruto planted him into the wall, as those who was shocked and caught off guard by the speed. Well, everyone was, they didn't even see when Naruto moved. As Ibiki then came in the room, as Naruto started to talk to him casually, it seems like Naruto played poker with him and won all of his money, as he even owed Naruto money, as he pulled out his wallet and gave Naruto the money. As he told all of them to sit down, scowling at Naruto the entire time. Naruto ended up switching papers, one of the Chunin in front of him, getting all the answers, as he realized the point of the test, as he told to everyone after the test was over. Ibiki's sigh as Uncle burst through the window. Uncle was disappointed that Ibiki let so many people pass, seemed like he was losing his touch. But Uncle smiled as she told everyone to follow her, as Naruto walked along with her, making some of the guys jealous, especially Kiba. How the hell did Naruto know her, as she had her arm draped around Naruto's shoulder, as the both of them were talking and laughing, as Sasuke wondered if this was a girl he was always talking about, the person that he was always spending time with. As they finally arrived to the forest of death, where the second phase of the exam will begin. So yeah guys, so it's basically last where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it over yourself. So what is it we begin this new episode? Naruto walked back over to the other Genins as Uncle spun around in a grin. Welcome one and all, she said, to the second stage of Chunin exams, Training Ground 44, or as I like to call it, the forest of death. Ah, my home away from home nerd said a smile, making many of the Jennies looked at him like he was crazy or something. You kids are looking at one of my favorite training grounds, the Forest of Death. You will find out why they call it that very soon, said Uncle. You can't scare us, lady, Kiba scoffed. Trying to hide how nervous he felt staring into the forest in front of him, he heard stories about this place from his mother. And yeah, he was afraid. Uncle grinned as she thrust a kunai towards him, as it sliced his cheek. Uncle then flashed behind him as she held onto him and licked his cheek. You know, it's tough guys like you that spill that delicious blood all over the forest floor, Uncle said with a grin. Naruto, no offense, but your friend really scares me, said Tenten. Naruto simply chuckled. Yeah, she tends to scare people the first time they meet, but she's not bad if you get to know her. However, you really have to ask yourself this: what is more worse, her or Guy and Lee Sunset Genjutsu? Tenten shivered. I don't think anyone can match that level of creepy, she said. Uncle was smiling as she saw the expression on Kiba's face. God, how she loved to mess with these kids. Uncle then felt a person as she spun around, as she had a kunai in her hand already, to see a woman wearing a straw hat, as she had a rather long tongue, with Uncle's previous kunai that she threw in it. Here's your kunai, Proctor-san, the woman said in a perfect voice, despite having her long tongue sticking out. Why thank you, Uncle said. She took the kunai and put it in her pouch. But next time, do not sneak up on me like that, unless you have a death wish. I apologize, I just get excited at the sight of blood, and your kunai caught my precious hair, so I couldn't help myself, the grass ninja said, as she licked her lips. Well, it looks like we have a bunch of bloodthirsty competitors this year. Hey kid, Uncle said. She looked over at Naruto. Come help me pass out these papers. As she reached in her trench coat and pulled out a stack of papers. Whatever, Nerd says, he created a bunch of clones. You just don't want to do it because you're lazy. Oh, perhaps we need to play some more tag. That way I can show you how lazy I am, she said, giving him a sweet smile. Naruto paled. No thanks, he said. Good, said Uncle, as the clones started to pass out the papers to everyone. Before you begin these exams, you have to sign these waivers, saying that we're not responsible if you die in there. Now let me explain the second exam to you. After that, your team will check into the booth behind me. Each team will go through one of the 44 gates and head towards the tower in the center. However, before you get there, you have an objective that you must complete. You are to use whatever necessary to obtain your second scroll. Half you will get one, and half you will get the other. As she pulled up two scrolls, the heaven and the earth. And you are to do what is necessary to get a scroll and make it towards the tower in the center. Once you have your two scrolls, you can pass this test. But there's a time limit. You only have 5 days to retrieve your scroll and get to the tower. 5 days? Ino shouted. But what about food? Choji asked. Oh, there's plenty to eat in the forest. Either that, or you can kill an enemy and eat them, Uncle said, as she smiled a bloodthirsty smile, causing many Jenny to shudder. And also, if your teammates die, any one of them, you will fail this test, and if you don't show up at the tower in 5 days, automatically fail. And if you open the scroll before getting to the tower, automatically fail. So now that the explanations are done, sign a form and turn them in at the booth. Sasuke was the one to get the scroll. It was a heaven scroll, meaning that he needed an earth scroll to pass. As Sasuke looked over to see Sakura looking at the forest, as she was rather nervous, but he saw Naruto with a smile on his face. As much as I hate to say it, I'm confident that Naruto can handle himself in there. But Sakura, I'm not so sure, he said, as he looked towards the forest. Whatever the case, we need to be careful if we want to survive this. You excited? Teen, Naruto asked. After a moment, Sasuke smirked. Of course, this will be a great opportunity to test myself against ninjas from other villages. This will definitely be one hell of a party, I can tell you that, Naruto said. Suddenly, Uncle's voice came over the speakers. The second test of the Chunin exams begins now, as the gates open as they all dashed in. After a while in the forest, they start to hear screams, blood-curdling screams of people dying. Dope. From what I heard from your conversation with the proctor, you've been in here before, Sasuke asked. That's right, I actually train in here several times a week. You could say I know this place at the back of my hand. So then, what do you suggest we do? Sasuke asked. Both Sakura and Naruto looked at Sasuke in shock. Neither of them expected Sasuke to ask someone else for their opinion. Well, Naruto said, we came through gate 33. So if we head 2 miles east, we will run into a river that will take us straight towards the tower. My suggestion would be to take that stream all the way to the tower and set traps at said tower, since we already know that everyone will be heading there eventually. Of course, in this sector there are several man-eating plants, so we have to watch out for them. Our best bet to avoiding them is to stick towards the middle ground, and then take the trees. Sasuke nodded after a while. I think that is the best plan we can come up with, given the circumstances. You know, you seem pretty chill giving me the command, teen. Finally accepting my superiority, Naruto asked. Hardly, Sasuke said that scoff. But you know this force better than I do, so it will be stupid for me not to ask your input when coming up with a plan. That is so heartwarming to know that you trust me, teen. I'm touched, Naruto said. Just don't get used to it, Sasuke said. The two smirked before running off again, making a confused Sakura follow them. After several minutes, Naruto stopped. Why do you stop, dope? Sasuke asked. God, take a leak, Naruto said. Gross, Naruto, don't say such things in front of a lady, Sakura said. Lady? Where? Naruto asked, as he moved behind a large bush, leaving a fuming Sakura. As Naruto finished, took a leak, as he was going to go back to his team, but he then heard something behind him. As a rain ninja came upon Naruto with brilliant speed, Naruto had no time to act as the rain ninja stabbed him right to the kunai, but then Naruto poofed away. The real Naruto came out from a tree as he smashed his foot on top of the rain ninja's head as he went into bliss unconsciousness. As Naruto grabbed him and pulled him into the clearing where his two teammates were waiting. What happened? Sasuke asked. Well, the bastard tried to jump me while I was answering the call of nature. I mean, seriously, who does that? He said. Isn't this a violation of one of the man laws or something? Sasuke simply rolled his eyes at how overdramatic Naruto was being. Does he have a scroll? As Naruto searched, Rain Ninja. But he had a scroll, but it was a heaven scroll. Great, another heaven scroll. Looks like our luck is good, but not good enough to get what we want. Quit complaining, at least it means one less scroll for someone else, Sasuke said. We should tie him up and come up with a code word in case we get separated, if someone tries this again. As Naruto created a clone to tie up the Rain Ninja, as he sealed away the heaven scroll into his seal on his hand, as the three then huddled up together. Alright, we will need a code word in case the enemy capture us, and try to get in close. If we do this and the person gets it wrong, we will assume that they are enemy. Sasuke stopped and looked around, to make sure no one was listening in. Alright, when someone asks for a ninja, song, ninja machine, this is the answer that you give them. A large amount of enemies is a friend of the shinobi. Hide and remain silent. A shinobi must understand the proper time when the enemy is tired and ill prepared. Naruto blinked. Why the hell would you want to say such a long ass phrase? I thought this was a password, not a poem. What's the matter, Baka? Too long to remember? Sakura asked. Of course this, Naruto said. Only someone with a large ass brain like you could remember something like that. As he shook off her growl, look, I got a better idea. As he pressed a hand to his left torso and unsealed a brush and an ink. What are those for, dope? Sasuke asked. I always carry some jutsu equipment on me in case I need to make a seal, Naruto said as he uncaught the cork. I want both of you to cut your finger and put some blood into the ink. What? Why would we do that? Sakura asked. This will make the ink bind with you, making the jutsu, the one that I'm about to make, more powerful. Sasuke simply cut his finger as he dripped some of his blood into the ink. As Sakura hesitated, but seeing that Sasuke did it, she did it as well. So what is this seal? Sasuke asked. He saw Naruto place his own blood into the ink and started to mix it. It's called the Binding Life Seal. Basically what it does, it creates a set of seals that will react to their brother seals. Within 16 feet, it would glow and show off a bright light. Sasuke, where do you want your answer to ask? Sasuke showed the underside of his wrist. He watched in mild interest as Naruto used quick, precise strokes, what looked like scribble to him on his arm. As Sakura, get her on the other wrist, as Naruto created a clone to put his on his neck. He then created two more clones that went through the same hand sign, as they all put their hands on the three of them. The seals started to glow light blue before the three felt a light vibration. There we go, all done, Naruto said, feeling proud that one of the seals that he created for our actual ninja use. Good, now we should get moving, Sasuke said as he stood up. The group was about to walk off when Naruto's eyes went wide as he felt a build-up of chakra. But before he could warn his teammates, a massive wind gust smashed into the three of them, sending them sailing in opposite direction. Moments later, Sasuke groaned as he looked around at his new surroundings. He heard a twig snap behind him as he turned to see Sakura. He would have got into a combat stance, but his seal started to glow light blue and vibrate a bit, knowing that it was her. Sasuke-kun, she said, as she came up to him. Sakura, he says, he gave a nod of acknowledgement. He may not quite like her, but she was his teammate. And in this situation, they need to stick together. Have you seen Naruto? He asked. No, I haven't seen him yet, she said. Hey guys, said a voice. Are you two okay? I wonder what the hell just happened, Naruto says. He walked up to them. But Sasuke pulled 3 kunais and thrust it towards Naruto, as Naruto dodged all of them. What the hell was that, team? Naruto asked. This has to be the most pathetic attempt of transforming into someone I ever seen. First of all, Naruto would make some smart ass comment about Sakura trying to get me alone so she could rape me or something like that. Sakura got a nosebleed at the mental image that went into her mind. Anyways, the seal that Naruto placed on us hasn't glowed one bit. I suggest you reveal yourself before I kick your ass without getting an explanation to who you are. The person started to chuckle. Very good, Sasuke-kun. It looks like there is more to this team than I thought. There was a poof of smoke, and when it cleared, it was a grass ninja, as she gave the two of them a bloodthirsty smirk. Looks like this is going to be more entertaining than I had hoped for. Meanwhile, Naruto was jumping through the trees, trying to locate his teammates. Just my luck to be knocked the farthest away, he said. As he was jumping, his senses went off as he had to jump away from a tree as a massive snake tear right through it. As he landed, I don't remember seeing any snakes like this, Naruto said, in the forest. Doesn't matter, I don't have time for you, Naruto said. You'll have to go. As Naruto unsealed his katana and shot off the tree. As he came at the snake hard and sliced at it with wind chakra in its blade, slicing his giant snake head off. The creature thrust around for several seconds before it went still, and then to Naruto's surprise poofed away. That's a summon, but that's not possible. The only ones that can summon snakes are Anko and... Naruto's eyes went wide. Damn it, he said. I have to find the both of them fast and pray that they don't run into him. Meanwhile, a strange grass ninja pulled out a scroll. You guys want this, right? As she shoved it into her mouth and swallowed it. That's disgusting, thought Sasuke. Now we can fight for these scrolls with our life on the line. As she released a powerful killing intent, both Sasuke and Sakura collapsed to their knees as they were decked by the hand of the grass ninja. They could have seen it over and over again. They saw themselves getting gutted by a long sword, getting ripped apart, all matter of gruesome deaths. This is not a genjutsu, Sasuke said, as he was breathing heavily. Her killing intent is so intense, it's showing images of my death. I've never felt something like this before, not even from that time with Zabuza. Sakura, he said, as he turned to see Sakura was even in worse shape, as she was on her knees, tears streaming down her face as she was shaking uncontrollably. Well, it seems neither of you can move. A pity. I expected this to be a challenge. I'll just get rid of the both of you right now. She pulled out 2 kunai and tossed them lazily at the Genins. Have to move now, Sasuke said. He pulled a kunai as he stabbed it right into his leg. That was enough to make him jump out of the way. The grass kunoichi smiled as she licked her lips. Interesting. As Sasuke jumped off and grabbed Sakura, jumping off to a safe distance. Sakura shook a bit as her eyes blinked several times before she looked around. Her eyes looked on Sasuke's leg. Sasuke, your leg looked pretty bad. Let me help you with... Sasuke quickly covered her mouth. His Sharingan already activated. He's completely terrified, she thought, as she saw him shaking. I've never seen him this scared before. It was then she noticed a large snake above them. Sasuke's hand was on her mouth as she pushed it back. Sasuke, above us, she said. Sasuke jumped off with Sakura as the snake destroyed the branch. He realized that the thing was after him as he set Sakura aside and kept on jumping away as the thing jumped after him. Damn it, he cursed. I was so scared I did not even notice my surroundings. As Sasuke finally landed down on a tree branch, looking around hyperventilating. As he saw the snake coming at him from the opposite side, he pulled kunais and shuriken and tossed them at the head. He released a sigh of relief when the snake started to go down, as the head started to crack. As the woman came out of it, Sasuke stepped back in fear. You two shouldn't relax. Not even for a moment, the woman said, as she started to slit her towards him. But before she could reach him, a powerful wind blade sliced through the branch, making her come to a stop. You know, if you two wanted to have a party like this, you should have invited me. The two genin looked up to see their teammate standing there. Despite his joking tone, he had a rather serious look on his face. Well, that was quite the wind jutsu. A wind blade like that for a genin. More and more surprise from this team. Naruto jumped down. Get the hell out of that disguise, Orochimaru. It's not fooling anyone. His two teammates stiffened as they heard the familiar name. Everyone had heard about Orochimaru, his two teammates, Jiraiya and Tsunade. They were trained by the third Hokage, and they were given their name by Salamander Hanzo until Orochimaru became an S-rank traitor for the village. That's quite insightful, the woman said. I would have never expected from the dead last of class. As she brought the hand up and ripped off the face, peeling it away. Tell me, how did you know it was me? Naruto felt a feeling of dread in his gut. Despite having a serious look on his face, he was really hoping that he was wrong to who this was. There are only two persons that I know that can summon snakes. Uncle and you. Ah, you know my old student, do you? Orochimaru chuckled to himself. So tell me, how is my favorite dear Uncle Chan? She was always sore about me leaving her. Tell me, is she doing alright? You know, I heard many stories about her in Konoha. It's no surprise you two are getting along well. Don't you dare talk about her, Naruto said, as he clenched his fist so tight blood was leaking from them. Because of you, she's become an outcast, and only a few people are even willing to get to know her. Orochimaru chuckled. Seems I touched a sore spot. You and Uncle seem pretty close. However, I did not come here to talk about my lost tool. There are other matters I have to deal with. What's he after, Naruto thought, as he kept his eyes trained on Orochimaru. As he was moving there calmly, knowing that Orochimaru could kill him. Why are you here, Naruto said, not actually sure that he would get the answer. Oh, I'm after young Sasuke-kun over there. He has something that I want. What does he? Naruto stopped. You want his Sharingan, he said. That was the only possible explanation Naruto could come up with. Anko had told Naruto about her relationship with Orochimaru and his desire to learn every jutsu in the world. Sasuke's head snapped up as he looked between the two of them, looking pale and angry at the same time. It seems information on you was wrong. You are much more intelligent than what my informant gave me on you. I would have loved to go into this matter further, but I'm sorry I don't have time to play games. So let me tend to my business with Sasuke-kun, and I'll let you live. As Naruto turned and looked at his teammates, Sasuke was shaken, as Sakura was even worse, standing next to a S-rank criminal like Orochimaru. Damn it, he's a Sannin. He would kill me, Naruto thought. But I have to do something. He made a hand sign as the weight on him dropped as he felt incredibly lighter. I may not get along with these two very well, but they're still my teammates. The only way you're getting the teen over there is through my corpse. Orochimaru simply chuckled. Very well then. Let us see how you do, Naruto-kun, he said. Sakura, Sasuke, get out of here, Naruto said. This guy's a Sannin, and I won't last too long. You guys need to get away and find a suitable hiding spot in that time. Go now, he said, as Naruto fluctuated wind chakra through his body, pumping up his limbs and increasing his speed. He pushed off the branch as it broke under the weight. As he dashed towards Orochimaru, Orochimaru ducked under Naruto's fist as he drive his fist in Naruto's gut. But Naruto poofed away, replaced the log. Wind release, tornado of divine winds. Naruto shouted as he appeared on Orochimaru's left, thrusting out both palms towards the Sannin. Two large tornadoes ripped from Naruto's palms and teared through the air. Orochimaru jumped off the branch that he was on as the entire thing got torn to shreds. I don't think I've ever seen that jutsu before, Orochimaru said, as he looked at Naruto and then back at the destroyed tree branch. You shouldn't take your eyes off your opponent, Naruto said behind Orochimaru. Orochimaru spun around as he dodged Naruto's fist and kick combo. As Orochimaru lashed out a punch that smashed into Naruto's chest, sending him staggering back. As Orochimaru was in front of him in a second, launching fists and kicks. For every one that Naruto blocked, 3 more connected into him. It was obvious that Orochimaru was just playing, picking apart Naruto's defenses like they were nothing. He would get inside Naruto's guard and place several hits while stung. They did not damage Naruto to that level. Then he would retreat and test the blonde reaction time. Naruto strained his eyes as Orochimaru kept on moving. The man was fast, even faster than what Naruto had seen from Guy already. He knew from his conversation with Anko that Orochimaru was like a snake dealing their prey. He loved to play, humiliate them, and toy with them. Naruto sidestepped a punch, but it was a feint, as he got kicked in the stomach, before Orochimaru spun and kicked Naruto in the side of the head as his body crashed into a tree. As Orochimaru jumped, smashing his foot in Naruto's ribs, breaking through the tree. As Naruto rolled over and flipped and landed back on his feet. Realizing that he was being toyed with, Naruto jumped away as he launched a wind blade from his hand. Orochimaru raised the eyebrow at the pure elemental manipulation, but he simply dodged. as Naruto launched several more wind blades trying to distract Orochimaru to think of a plan to get out of this alive. Senijatsu, said Orochimaru as he thrust out his hand as 6 snakes shot from his sleeve. Naruto channeled wind chakra into his hand as he launched it out in a powerful wave. It was like the snakes smashed into a wall as the snakes dispersed. As Naruto went through several hand signs, wind style, Runkidan, he said, as he hit himself on the stomach as he fired out a baseball bullet made from pure wind. It sailed towards Orochimaru, who bent his body at a limit that no human should be able to bend their body at. But Naruto used a small dodge to close the distance between them. He launched a fist at Orochimaru that had wind chakra on it, but Orochimaru merely directed the fist somewhere else. As Orochimaru shot a punch in Naruto's ribs, but Naruto poofed away and replaced the log. The real Naruto appeared behind him, wind style, divine fist of the wind god. 2 large fist shapes smashed into Orochimaru hard. Before Naruto could celebrate his victory, Orochimaru broke into snakes that slithered away, as chuckling could be heard. That's quite the jutsu, Naruto-kun. Naruto stiffened in surprise as he turned just in time to receive 2 fists to the chest. Naruto felt a few of his ribs compress under the pressure of the fist before breaking. Time seemed to stand still for a few seconds as his ribs buckled under the weight of the attack, as Naruto smashed into a tree trunk hard before sliding down it. Now that was an interesting battle, said Orochimaru. As he turned, Sasuke and Sakura were still there, as they did not leave like Naruto told them to do. Now let's see what you can do. If you can do better, Sasuke-kun, said Orochimaru, as he started to walk slow towards Sasuke. No! Stay back, Sasuke said, as he threw several kunais and shuriken at Orochimaru, but the man just weaved through them that they weren't even there. What a disappointment, Orochimaru said. If this is all you're capable of, I'll let my pet deal with you. As he went through hand sign, summoning jutsu, slammed his hand on the ground. A large snake appeared. Time to feast, my pet, Orochimaru said on top of the snake. The reptile hissed as it bared its fangs at Sasuke before launching to devour the boy whole. Sasuke could do absolutely nothing as the snake coming on him, still too busy dealing with the shock that Naruto decided to protect him and the fear that he felt from Orochimaru. But before the snake could do anything to them, Naruto appeared in front of him as the snake smashed in Naruto's back, as he smashed his feet into the ground, stopping the snake movements. Meanwhile, Uncle was munching on some dango. It's been about 24 hours, so the fast ones should be finishing up right now. As she finished eating all the dango and threw the stick at a tree, there, a perfect leaf symbol. One of the Chunin proctors didn't appear. Uncle-san, there's big trouble, we need you right away. Huh? What is it, Uncle asks. Bodies, 3 of them. There's something wrong with them. Something I think you need to see. As Uncle followed off the Chunin, after examining their papers and personal items, they seem to be ninjas from the grass. But as you can see, they have no faces. They're blank. It's like they have been completely melted off. Why is he here? Uncle thought. This jutsu. This is his work. Why now? Show me the pictures of these 3, she said. As she got the pictures, her eyes went wide when she noticed one that grabbed her kunai with a long tongue. I should have realized this from the beginning. He was already in disguise from the first time. Quickly report this to Hokage-sama. Get him to send some envoy teams in the Forest of Death. I'm going in there after him. Uncle did not wait for a reply. She jumped over the gate as she headed into the Forest of Death. Meanwhile, Naruto's head was down. His hair covering his eyes. What the hell is wrong with you? He said, his voice sounding darker than before. I asked you a question, Naruto says. He snapped his head up to show red eyes with black slits running down the middle, as his whisker marks are thicker and fangs protruding from his mouth. What's the matter, coward? Too scared to even run away. This is not the teen I know. I mean, he was a prick, but not this weak and cowardly. As Naruto pulled back his fist and smashed it into the snake behind him, the snake was blown back with force before it sending back to the summoning world. I guess I'll just have to take care of this myself, Naruto said, as he glared at Orochimaru, who landed on a branch. Now this is interesting, Orochimaru thought as Naruto started to attack him. His speed, reflexes, his strength seemed to have doubled. As Naruto came at Orochimaru to rip out his eyes, Orochimaru ducked under the attack and smashed several fists into Naruto's torso. But Naruto simply stumbled back before lifting up his head and launching at him again, as Naruto started attacking him furiously as he shot a wind blade in the attack. But Orochimaru slithered past it. As he realized Naruto was leaving a lot of openings, he was becoming wild, like an animal. As Orochimaru sidestepped a punch and smashed his fist into Naruto's face. As Orochimaru waited, Naruto got closer as he replaced himself with a mud clone. Reappearing behind Naruto, he wrapped his tongue around Naruto's neck. Hey, what the? Let me go, you stupid bastard, Naruto said. As Naruto grabbed onto Orochimaru's tongue, as Orochimaru lifted up Naruto's shirt. So that's the seal that keeps at bay. I have to admit, it's quite the masterpiece. You may actually be of use to me. When your emotions are heightened, you release the power of the Kyuubi. Let me go, Naruto said, as his gauntlets. Naruto sent chakra to them as the claws came out as he ripped right through Orochimaru's tongue. God, Orochimaru hissed in pain as half of his tongue was severed. You goddamn brat. As he opened his mouth, a snake shot out of it. The snake opened its mouth and a sword came out of the snake's mouth and stabbed right through Naruto's stomach. An animalistic roar came out of Naruto's mouth as he slammed into a tree. The sword pinned him to it. Naruto Sakura shouted, her voice working for the first time since the fight started. Orochimaru chuckled. That was quite the performance, Naruto-kun. As a gift to you, I'll grant you a gift. As he went through hand sign, his neck extended as he bit Naruto on the neck. Naruto screamed out in pain as a seal started to come on his neck, taking the shape of a diamond pattern. Now, said Orochimaru as he turned, let's see if the Uchiha can do better. If Orochimaru was focused on Naruto, you would have seen that the seal that he just gave Naruto, a purple chakra started to leak out of it. Naruto snapped his eyes open. Where am I? He said. As he looked to see that he was in Konoha. Well, it looked like Konoha, the buildings were the same. And he saw the Hokage's monument and the Hokage's tower. However, the place was dead. As he didn't even see a single person, not even alive. How did I get here? He said. The last thing I remember is... He then rushed as he looked towards his neck. As he felt his stomach as well, but nothing was there. No stab wound or the puncture mark. Naruto saw a shadow hopping on the roof. Hey, he said, but the thing kept on moving as he hopped off as well. I said stop! Who are you? Damn it, I just want to talk. Naruto chased the shadowy figure all the way towards the Hokage's monument. As he came to a stop. Who are you? I want to know what is going on here. Answer me, he said. The figure laughed, the voice sounding demonic with an odd echo, like two people were speaking. So you can't figure it out? Figures. I was always a brain between the two of us, the figure said. The figure lifted the hood that he was wearing. Naruto stepped back as he was looking at himself. Spiky blonde hair with 3 whisker marks. What the hell? Time skip. It's almost nightfall, said Uncle, as she dashed through the trees looking for Orochimaru. As she was starting to get worried, she had been searching for at least 3 hours now. I have to find him quickly. Once it gets dark, I'll be at a complete disadvantage. She landed on a branch and looked around, trying to determine where to go next. She then heard that familiar chuckling, as she turned to see Orochimaru halfway into a tree. Well, hello there, Uncle-san, he said. It's so nice to see you. Orochimaru, you sick bastard. Today's the day you die, she said. She spun around, pulling several kunais, but before she could throw them, Orochimaru's tongue extended and smacked them away. Uncle landed on a tree branch, see Orochimaru descending down towards her. As she thrust out her hand, several snakes lashed out of her sleeve as they sank their teeth in Orochimaru, but he burst into mud. Damn it, she cursed. She spun around just in time to stop his tongue, which she noticed part of it was cut off, as snakes came from her sleeve and wrapped around it. You're not getting away, she says. She yanked on the tongue, throwing him over her shoulder. As he landed on the ground, a thud, as Uncle jumped right on him and rammed a knee right in his gut. Once again, Orochimaru burst into mud, as Uncle was not fast enough, as several snakes wrapped around her. As she was then thrown to a tree violently, as Orochimaru appeared and pinned her hand through with a kunai. Uncle wheezed out in pain. Come on, Uncle-chan, you should know better. You must know by now that you have no chance against me, he said, like she was a little child playing out of her league. Screw you, she said. She pulled the kunai out her other hand and threw it at him. He merely caught and threw it back at her as it sliced her cheek. He smashed her into the tree and lifted her up. Such anger, are you not happy to see your sensei? You know that hurt my feelings. You know my favorite student hate me. It really breaks my heart. You don't have a heart, she said, as he paralyzed her with a paralyzing jutsu. You wound me, Uncle-chan, he said, wagging a finger at her. Why are you here? Uncle said, gritting her teeth. Are you trying to assassinate the Hokage? No, he said. I don't have enough man for that yet, so I thought I would recruit some outstanding shinobi from this village. Uncle tried to scream as she felt her cursed seal flare up. I have to admit, I've received quite the harvest today, he said, licking his lips. I came here for one Jenny, but I ended up getting two. Both of them had received my gift. How selfish of you. They're going to die, Uncle said. The chances are 1/10. One may survive, but the other is guaranteed to survive. Who? Who did you give the curse seal to? Uncle asked. Feeling jealous, are we? Are you still upset that I threw you away? Even after all these years? But unlike you, these shinobis are talented. One of them is a kid who carried the Uchiha blood after all. And the other, Orochimaru licked his lips. The other is someone you know quite well. The Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. Uncle Pale. If you touch him, I'll kill you, she said. So you two are quite close after all. You know when I spoke of you, he said the same thing. I didn't realize you were in the cradle, Robin, Uncle Chan. Though from what I've heard about your sexual habits, I shouldn't be surprised. Uncle could do nothing but listen as her former sensei demeaned her relationship with Naruto. Truthfully, she did not know what she felt for the younger blonde, but she knew she would give her life for him. To listen to her sensei speak about their relationship like that, it was more than her heart could bear. Just imagine it, with that boy under my control and Sasuke Sharingan, Konoha will fall. Naruto will never follow you. If there was something Uncle was sure of, that was one of it. Despite all the pain and suffering he went through, Naruto would never betray Konoha. He loved the village too much, and his dream is to become Hokage. Oh, I don't really know about that. We all know how Jinchurikis are treated. I will be the one to take away his pain, and grant him the power to gain revenge on the village that wronged him. Just think, Uncle, it will be glorious to have him under my control. He let go of Uncle, letting her drop to the floor. Anyway, I have 3 ninjas of my own participating in this exam. I think I will go and enjoy the upcoming show, he said, as he started to merge with the floor. Oh, and be sure to not let Sarutobi Sensei ruin my fun, or I will burn Konoha to the ground. Uncle was forced to lay there for several more minutes before she could move again as she rushed towards the tower. Meanwhile, Sakura looked at her 2 teammates with worry as she changed their hot rag with new ones. The both of them were unconscious and there was no telling when enemies would show up. She had managed to drag the both of them to a hollowed out tree where she had set them to give them cover, but it would be obvious to anyone who looked like they were there. As she looked at Sasuke, he was sweating and whimpering in pain. He had stopped screaming an hour ago, but it was obvious that he was affected by what Orochimaru did to him. But Naruto was having it worse as he was screaming, grunting of pain like he was locked in some sort of struggle. What was worse was the seal on his neck. It was pulsing and a vile purple chakra was leaking out of it. And the large stab wound that he suffered, she had bandaged up, but she was no medic. As she looked at the bandages, as the blood had seeped into it already. I'm going to need to change his bandages again, she thought. He then started to scream and thrust around. She had to literally climb on top of him and hold him down until it was over. What is going on with him, she thought, as she wiped away some of the blood that was going down his mouth as he accidentally bit his tongue. Looking at him, she remembered what he said. I may not get along with these two very well, but they're still my teammates, and you're gonna have to go through my corpse to get them. He was willing to fight an extra criminal he had no chance of beating, for us to just escape. She felt very guilty for all the time that she had berated him for now. He had risked his life, and she always yelled and tried to abuse him. Seeing his strength and Sasuke afterwards make her realize that they were getting farther and farther away from her. She was forced to hold him down again as he started to scream around in pain. Meanwhile, did you hear that? Asked Kin as she turned to her partners. Do you think it's Uchiha? No, it sounds like that blonde-haired kid. Sounds like he was injured. I'm looking forward to paying him back for kicking me, said Dosu. So we should attack them now, asked Kin. No, let's wait until the pink-haired one falls asleep. We'll attack at dawn to make things easier. Oh, come on, Dosu, that she can't even take on one of us, said Zaku. Hell, I doubt she could even take on an academy student. I agree with Zaku, said Kin. I would rather not deal with any unnecessary conflicts, said Dosu. I don't care how weak she is. I would rather just run in and kill them without trouble. That is what we're going to do, he said. Meanwhile, Naruto was trapped in this fake Konoha with this person looking back at him. There was some differences. His hair was slightly darker, his whiskers were thicker and more jagged, and his eyes were a blood red color with black slits. But everything else was him. Who are you? The look-alike chuckled. I am you, of course. That's not possible, Naruto said. Its eyes then widened. You're that voice I heard on the bridge. What the hell is going on, he said. He thought that the voice belonged to the Kyuubi. I am so happy that you recognized my voice. As he tilted his head, And it's perfectly possible I am you, and you that you buried deep in your heart. The darkness that you have in you. Haven't you wondered after everything why you've never felt truly hatred and rage? While even the village treating you like a worthless dirt that they walk on, you never lashed out. Naruto frowned. Truth be told, he never really thought about why he never felt anger before, and why he was always cheerful. He just felt like crying or getting angry over something. That wasn't really worth it. It was just a waste of time. All he ever wanted was for people to see him, and see him that he's not the Kyuubi, he's Naruto Uzumaki. I never had time to think about such stupid and ridiculous pointless thoughts, Naruto said. Well, whether you talked about it or not, that is what I am. I am the darkness buried in your heart, ever since you realized that you were hated, said Yami Naruto, as he grinned, showing off his long canines. I have been buried deep here, within your mind, but every year I will just get more power, a little bit more freedom. Yami Naruto then frowned. That was until recently, that is. Ever since you graduated and befriended those two, I have stopped growing. Ever since they came into the picture, I started to get weaker, he said. I nearly gave up hope for getting out of here and making Konoha pay for what they did. The only time I was able to make an appearance was when that Haku chick died, and I could barely influence you. However, a vile purple chakra surrounded Yami Naruto, as the diamond seal spread out, covering diamond patterns half over his body. When that man beat you, he gave us his powerful power, which seemed to have flowed inside of me. Finally, I can defeat you and take this body as my own. Yami Naruto laughed. I would finally get my revenge and destroy the pathetic village. You must be some goddamn retard, Naruto said. If you think I'm gonna let you get away with destroying Konoha, that is still my home, and people that I love are still there. You won't be able to stop me, Yami Naruto said, as he moved off with speed that Naruto was unable to track, smashing his fist in Naruto's chest. Naruto's entire body was sailing as he smashed right through the Hokage's monument, creating a hole in it. Naruto pushed pieces of boulders off of him. What strength, he said, as Yami Naruto charged at him. Naruto threw a punch at his dark half, but all he hit was an after image, as he felt a terrible fist into his gut that made him keel over like a lawn chair. Pathetic. To think you're a part of me, Yami Naruto said. Suddenly, Naruto disappeared in a poof of smoke, as Yami Naruto's eyes widened before Naruto smashed his feet in Yami Naruto's face, as he was sent sailing back, smashing through a building, breaking through the other side. Naruto jumped down the axe kick, but Yami Naruto grabbed his leg and twisted him and threw him away. Naruto flipped and his feet hit a wall, as he used it as a springboard and pushed off. As soon as he got in reach, Dark Naruto smashed an elbow into his face, as Naruto poofed into a log. He reappeared behind Yami Naruto and brought his fist down, but Yami Naruto blocked it, placing his hand over his head. He grabbed on Naruto's wrist and threw him over his back, making Naruto hit the ground with a grunt. Despite getting the wind knocked out of him, Naruto grabbed onto his hands and pulled him down and smashed his knee right into Yami Naruto's stomach, as he brought that up with an uppercut, sending Yami Naruto flying. Yami Naruto picked back himself up, as the both of them started to trade blows, throwing each other through buildings, breaking through other buildings and stone, rock formation and all that, starting to use the buildings and debris to their advantage, trying to catch the other one off guard by using traps and explosive clones, as Yami Naruto had the cursed seal feeding his power, making him get stronger and stronger. For every one hit that Naruto got in, Yami Naruto got in 3 to 4 more, pounding Naruto into the ground. But Naruto was never one to give up as he jumped away and went through several hand signs, as he hit himself on his stomach, releasing a compressed ball of wind. Fool. You can't beat me like that, said Yami Naruto, as he did the same hand signs, as he launched a ball of wind, as the both of them clashed against each other, creating an explosion of wind. Naruto swung a ruined blade right after Yami Naruto, as Yami Naruto dodged. Naruto used that time to close the distance and punched Yami Naruto right in the face. However, he was sent sailing back when Yami Naruto exploded. Naruto gasped in pain as he smashed through a wall, landing on his back as he felt several of the sharp debris stabbing his back. I told you couldn't beat me, said Yami Naruto, as he stepped on Naruto, pushing debris into his back. Naruto cried out in pain. Don't worry, said Yami, I won't kill you. That would be like killing myself after all. But you're gonna know what it feels like to be locked away, and you're never gonna get out. He's too strong, Naruto said, as his vision started to get blurry. I can't beat him. Don't give up. Naruto blinked as he heard a feminine voice. Who? Don't give up. You can't give up. But he's too strong, Naruto said. If you give up, he will destroy Konoha. and the precious people you have inside. Precious people? When a person has something important to protect, that is when they became truly strong. Naruto heard Haku words ring through his head. Haku, he said. I can't give up now. What would Haku think of me? If I just let this guy win, all of my friends will die. I can't give up, Naruto said. Then get up and fight. Who are you, Naruto said. You will know in time. For now, let me help you. Naruto felt a foreign chakra coursing through his veins. It felt odd, familiar, as he felt like he should recognize it somehow. As Naruto stood up, catching the attention of Yami Naruto. Well, I guess you are wrong, dumbass, Naruto said. Because you're not going anywhere. You're staying right here after I done beat your ass. As Yami Naruto was caught off guard, Naruto blurred away. It was like an assault that happened. Yami Naruto was assaulted from every side. Punch, kicks. He was brutally pampered. This fight was completely one-sided. It was Yami Naruto was on the losing side. Yami Naruto blocked one of Naruto's punches before Naruto flashed behind him and drive a knee into his back as Yami Naruto crashed through another building. As Naruto jumped and landed into his stomach with a boom, breaking the ground underneath him. Grabbing him by the face, Naruto swung him around and smashed his head through a building. Yami Naruto tried to get up, but Naruto drove his fist forward, smashing it into Yami Naruto's face. It was like everything froze for a second as the fist made contact, as Yami Naruto crashed into a stone wall before collapsing down. As Naruto panted, making his way over there. Looks like you lost. As the curse seal receded back into Yami Naruto. Don't think that I am beaten. I will be back, and I will destroy Konoha and everything you hold dear. Naruto watches Yami Naruto disintegrated, leaving nothing behind. You can come back as many times as you want. I'll kick your ass every single time. The odd energy that was empowering him left as Naruto collapsed down to the ground. But guys, if you end this episode right here, remember to stay in tune for what if Naruto got his memory sealed away. And also, what if Naruto was the Asusuke King? So stay tuned for that. And also, what if Naruto got a second chance? Stay tuned for that as well, guys. But more for now, see you guys soon. Peace.